hearing us now would be interested in knowing about.
All right, tell us about what's on the menu.
In terms of drinks, we'll be having Kubuli free for 10.
Yeah.
And a sweet woman thing by Astafans. It's a mixed drink, special mixed
A
drink.
sweet woman thing. I wonder what that means. Elvis, I'm going to find out.
Man. Come across.
I'm wondering why didn't you just say my thing?
We'll be having complimentary soup. The soup is free, don't pay for it. Cream soup, callaloo or pumpkin. We'll be having sauce, barbecue, fried chicken, goat water, and many other eats that you can find at an event like that.
Okay.
Right.
And we'll be having jello shots as well, $1.
So you can't go get a walk away hungry.
No.
Just lost to eat a drink.
You're gonna get a full stomach, Matt, and you're also gonna be able to indulge in drinks and eats that you love at the venue.
And you'll be there to do a little entertainment as well?
Definitely. Matt, it's a production being done in partnership with Carumas and Versatile Entertainment, Dominica Brewery and Beverages Limited. Digicel is also on board with us. So from time to time, you're going to get different giveaways, different opportunities to win great prizes. Compliments our partners at Dominica Brewery and Beverages. So we want to say thank you to them and to all the other partners who are partnering with this TGIF line. So once you come on down, you know, the entertainers will be there. We have the man Danger Dane, as I said, out of the DVS radio family, and you also got versatile DJ A-Star, who is also a Q95 under 25 DJ competitor as well. So all of this being done, you know, keeping the tongue on hype this Friday the 10th of June and every other Friday. So today what we want to do, we just want you to come on over, take part in our lunch specials that we have going on right now. You can get lunch, as I said, and indulge in some Kubli drinking. We have the free for 10 on special, and then next week is when the hype kicks off from 4 p.m.
All right, thank you so much, Elvis. I'm going to leave it up to you to wrap it up this afternoon.
Definitely, man.
Thank you, Elvis.
Thank you.
All right.
Definitely.
I'm gonna come over and get that sweet woman thing.
I'm already hungry.
So let me say, allow Elvis his final, you know, if I should say words. Oh, he's parting word. He'll be back.
My parting word, of course, Matt. We just want to remind persons that Davos Free Up Friday is on Chrissy. It's in the hole, of course. And Fortney, that's on today. We have Idifa on the hill today as well. And Davos Free Up Friday, look out for this one this afternoon. But of course, I'm going to be making a stop at the Karumat as well this afternoon. And, you know, tomorrow is a full weekend, Pork Fest and Sanchez. And, you know what I'm saying, loads of activity. We also have in Sufria, the Midnight Groovers is on Spotlight in Granby as well tomorrow. So look out massive for all the big things that we have happening tomorrow. But you can join me tomorrow afternoon at Lakayu on King George, Deville Street. We just want to ask everyone to have a blessed weekend, of course, and let's go out there and party safe. This young man has just put me in the feeling. I feel in the feeling, of course.
And Brother Slim is going to quickly update us on what's going on at Davos tonight.
Davos today, of course, Free Up Friday.
Well, Matt, you know, later on at Davos, we're going to have 4 DJs and 1 artist. So, you know, there's a big vibes going on at Davos right here. Q95 family. I myself, DJ Slim, DJ Shill. Then we're going to have 2 DJs from the Dominica's Best DJ competition. We're going to have DJ Half Inch and DJ Shan. Right there at Davos later on tonight, Friday Bar Line.
All right, Friday Bar Line at Davos, featuring DJ Slim and more.
What you doing? We heading down to the river with Kubuli in a cooler. drinks from the freezer. And Kubuli is the winner. Dominica Brewery is the leader. This is my life, this is my beer, and I'll drink Kubuli anywhere. This is my life, this is my beer, and I'll drink Kubuli anywhere. Check this out.
Rent 2 days at standard price, get 1 day free at Island Car Rentals. Yes, you heard me right. Rent 2 days with Island Car Rentals, get 1 day free on all vehicles in our fleet. Use promo code ICR1. Better vehicles, better value, better service. That's Island Car Rentals. Call 767-255-6834 or 767-614-7368. Rent. Offer ends June 30th, 2016. Terms and conditions apply. Blast off. Extreme Auto Car Wash Detailing Services for a shiny, bright, good as new, sparkling, clean car. Visit Extreme Car Wash and really save on buffing, waxing, steam cleaning, engine degreasing, polished rims, and generalized servicing, even personalized number plates. Only your car gets wet, not you. So keep on coming and your 10th wash will be on us. Extreme Auto Car Wash and Detailing Services on 53 Cox Street. Open daily Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. till. Call 285-1964 or 614-5112. There is something sexy about getting your car washed at Extreme Auto Car and Detailing Services. We do it just how you like it.
Good afternoon. We're going straight to the court. When we come back, we're going to talk to Arthur Martin and some very important discussion taking place on Monday. Good afternoon, Kala John Baptist. Kala, are you there? I suspect I missed it. All right, before I talk to Arthur Martin there on the very important discussion taking place this Monday, let's talk to Kala John Baptist and find out what's the latest coming from the High Court. Kala John Baptist.
Hi, Matt. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your many listeners. You have me clear now?
Yes, you're very clear now.
Okay.
Very clear.
Well, as you mentioned, we have a matter going on at the High Court in Roseau. The Asher James murder trial continues at the High Court in Roseau before 3 men and 6 women jury panel. This morning, over the last few days, we had the prosecution presented its case. Remember, James is charged with the September 2013 murder of Kenny Bosco George of Wharton, Waven. Over the last few days, the state was presenting its case, led by State Attorney in the Office of the DPP, Shuma Dairampul, assisted by Fanilia Felix and Kalita Benjamin. Then the state closed its case after the last prosecution witness testified. I can also tell you that the evidence of the pathologist, Dr. Mario Fernandez, who left state since the performing the autopsy on the body of the deceased, she left the jurisdiction, and as a result, the state had to adduce additional evidence so that her evidence could be admitted, and that was read out to the jury. And in her concluding remarks, she stated that the cause of death was hemorrhagic shock from severe injuries. This morning, the prosecution or the defense began to present its case. And of course, the three options which were presented to the accused, Asher James, was that he could stay in the witness stand, in the prisoner's dock, that is, and say nothing, and nothing will be held against him. He could stay there and give a statement, and he will not be asked any question, and nothing will be held against him. Or he could leave the prisoner's dock and go to the witness stand on oath and give a sworn statement. He chose to go on oath, and he gave a sworn statement this morning, a very, very lengthy statement this morning. And when I left court this afternoon, he was being cross-examined by that is prosecuting counsel, Shema Dairampel. Matt, a very, very interesting case going on, I must say. And I don't want to delve into the ifs and buts of that case, except to say that very, very interesting matters being developed at the High Court in this murder trial.
Very interesting.
Very interested indeed. Like I said, the young man took to the witness stand. Not very often that you find that happening, but he took to the witness stand. And of course, when you take to the witness stand, you are expected to be cross-examined by the prosecutor, by the jury, and of course by the trial judge. And when I left, he was being cross-examined by the prosecutor well into an hour, and I expect that to continue maybe later down this afternoon.
Elijah Baptist, I've been hearing of a young girl gone missing, and mixed reports on that. Some people seem to think that, the authorities may know where she is, and as I said to the person, well, if you know that, where she is, then why don't you pursue this?
Well,
have you heard anything like that?
But we reported that, we reported that on QFM. We did. I gave that to you, and I spoke about.
But I'm talking about what is the latest on that?
Well, I don't know what the latest is, except that since she's gone missing. But as to the latest development, I don't know. I know she's the side of a twin who resides in the community of Point Michelle. That is as far as I am aware. But as it relates to the latest development, where she is, if she is alive, I don't know, except that I know she has gone missing, and they're asking for people to assist in that regard.
That is something else, huh?
Very well, that's something else.
So because apparently some family member is reporting that the police is not doing enough about the missing girl. We suspect she's dead. That's what the person is suggesting, and was last seen with some people, two guys. I'm saying, but if you know that information, take it to the police.
Well, it's not everything you can take. Well, take it to the police.
But if you think you know where the missing girl is, you should report that to the police.
Well, of course, they should report that, and they have this anonymous tip that they can call and give that information. And if they don't want, maybe you may be able to trust. If you don't trust any police officer, but you can always call at the anonymous tip. That I think they answer you in Canada or thereabouts.
Yes.
And you can give that information. So the ball is in their court. If they have information, I suggest to them that if any information that they have, they need to call the police or call whoever it is and give that information, because it's relevant information. I mean, someone is missing, and that is very, very critical in that regard.
What's the latest with the by-election in the Suffolk constituency? I sort of called your name yesterday, because I know for some time you were trying to get an interview with the candidate for the Labour Party, Miss Denise Charles. Have you ever been successful?
No, I have not been successful. Though I can say, well, I have spoken to her on a one-on-one after Mass.
Off the record?
Yes, but not having a conversation or an interview. What I can say, though, to you, Matt, and the Labour Party people, they are expecting me to say that. They were in Point Michel. They have been in Point Michel. They were in my area. And, you know, this is the first time I'm speaking about that. I found it very strange, Matt, that whilst after I came from Point Michel, I spoke to a particular government minister. I have not spoken to not one person about that. But I met a gentleman, what is his name, Ken George, who says to me that he understood that I had a tete-a-tete with Kelva Daru. Kelva Daru was in my lane. I was sitting, having my dinner, and then Kelva Daru came and said, Colonel John Baptist. So I said, hey, Kelva, I did not know that you knew my name, because Kelva passes me straight on the road. And he says to me, well, I could say that on the radio. I must say, if at all I was ever thinking or I ever had any thought of voting, I mean, those guys, they are ruining people. One, Mr. Ambrose George, his attitude stinks, and I can say that. His attitude towards me was not very pleasant. And there was the ambassador, Aaron, and there was one, Jared Kulz-Latig, who had nothing pleasant to say to me. And they are working with those candidates, you know, Matt.
And they're campaigning. And
they are campaigning. Jared Kulz-Latig and Ambrose Judge said, oh, I just spreading propaganda. I'm telling you that because these are facts. And I give, and I always will, I give kudos to Ian Douglas, Matt. That man is a man of close to my heart. Very, very simple man, Matt. Came home, went at my sister's home, went to my mother's home. I sat there with him, we ate, nice discussion. And that Ian is a good politician. Ian is the real politician. Nurse Justina Charles also, she spoke to my mom. She went at my mom's home. We had a few exchanges. Very pleasant. You know, those two there. But the others, Matt, they were hostile to say the least. Hostile to say the least. And
so if you did not have a reason to vote, as you indicated before, you now have a reason?
Well, but I don't.
I know you're choking on that one. Yes.
That's a nice question, but
a question I've not had an answer to.
The next day, well, and that very day, there was Reuven Paul and a few others, because I walked up the road to by the 7 days.
Though, the opposite is true for me, though. All the politicians who try to engage me seem very warm. Kelva, for the first time, spoke to me in maybe 5-6 years, but he was pleasant. He came home. We were pleasant, but I did not feel a hostility, as you indicated, though.
But Kelva was not hostile, eh?
Okay.
No.
He was very nice.
No, he was not. He was very pleasant. He called me, and even later on, we went down the road, and we had a nice, pleasant discussion.
Yes, okay.
He was very pleasant. I must say that on the record. He was very pleasant. But the attitude of Ambrose George was not very good, and Jared Kulz-Latig was the more hostile one, who, and then he stormed away and so on. And then I had a nice little discussion down the road with the education minister, and we continued, Kelvin, myself, and some other people, we continued that discussion.
Well, Kyle, I'm hoping maybe you can't answer me on the radio this afternoon as it relates to the reason for voting, but we'll have another exchange sometime later, okay? Because I have to continue, and you're not answering my question.
What was your question, Matt?
My question was, do you have a reason for voting this time? Because you said a couple of weeks ago you would not be. You're having a change of mind because of the attitude.
I did say that I will not be voting, but I am starting to consider. All
right, thank you very much, Kalai. He started to consider. Thank you very much. Auntie Marty, how you doing? You having a good laugh?
I'm having a wonderful laugh at Kalai's expense. You caught him. Not with his pants down, you know, but with his pants off.
Off. All right.
That was a nice one.
How you doing now? I see we have guests in the house.
Well, yeah, we have a team. We
have a team in the house.
We have a team together, yeah.
Yes. I think a very interesting discussion is planned for Monday evening on Q95. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, Matt, Q95, and I think kudos to the ownership of Q95, Mr. Gregoire, and of course all the other program hosts. We have led the way in trying to keep the issue of child sexual abuse high up on the national agenda, not just because of the by-election in Soufriere constituency, but because in and of itself it is a substantially important issue for us, and it is an issue that will help define the kind of society that we are. We really do believe that. And so we've spent the last several weeks helping, what we hope, our listening audience understand the seriousness of the matter of child sexual abuse. That is not a casual thing. It's not part of our culture. It's something we should stand up against, and it's something we should protect our children from. And at this stage, we thought that we should move beyond just a discussion of the seriousness of the criminality, the violations, the horrible impact it has on the children and their families and so on, to discussing what can we do about it. So that in fact on Monday, we're actually going to have an open forum, which will be held at the Public Service Union ground floor conference center on the Valley Road, courtesy, actually I must say, of the Public Service Union, who have donated the facilities as in support of the exercise. And the idea will be to get the word out to every single organization we can imagine and think of that exists in Dominica, and ask them, look, whether you've been on the record already or not, this is an opportunity to get on the public record in terms of, one, what is your organization's position on this matter of child sexual abuse, and two, and I would say of equal importance, if not more importance, what do you think needs to be done? Specifically, what sort of action can we take as a society to send the word out to our children and to the perpetrators that we will not tolerate this, and here's what we're setting out to do. So we hope it will get very, very specific and detailed. And the idea would be to constitute then a panel of these spokespersons from these various organizations. And we've invited, and he's agreed, and I'm so happy he has, because, you know, whether you like it or not, people like yourself, people like myself, like Angelo, and all, everyone who's on Q95 seems to have developed a certain kind of coloration.
Yeah, the label.
Right.
The labeling, yes.
So we thought we would seek someone from the Journalist Corps who's not in our view of that same coloration, labeling. And we've got Tim Jura, who's, as we all know, a substantial journalist, years and years of experience, and is in fact the man behind DNO News Online, Dominica News Online, and he's agreed to be, if you will, the coordinator, and he will manage the discussion, and the discussion will be actually initiated by the journalists, people like yourself. We're inviting a core of journalists. We're actually inviting journalists from all the media houses. We hope Curtis Matthew will come. We hope people from somebody from GIS will come and constitute a panel of journalists who will inquire of the spokespersons from these various organizations what it is their position on this matter, and what do they intend to do about it. So we hope, and it will be 2 hours, the usual length. So those people who listen normally to Governance on Q from 6 to 8, it's the same time. It's just we'll have a different venue, and we have a little twist to it. For people who within walking or driving distance of the Public Service Union, you're invited. So there will be accommodation for us, for the members of the public who wish to come into the conference center, and you will, if you wish, be engaged by the journalists or the spokespersons of the different organizations in a certain segment of the discussion. So it's an opportunity to get up close and personal with this issue. We hope we can also take calls on Skype from many of the persons in the diaspora for whom this is a very, very serious issue. I have here with me in studio somebody who's no stranger to the microphones of Q, but also who's come into the discussion with us on governance on Q on the question of child sexual abuse. Marilyn Isles, better known in radio as Auntie Marilyn, and she will be playing a crucial role in the organizing and will be with us as well on Monday evening. So Marilyn, I'd like you to say a few.
Yes, Afi and Matt, good afternoon. Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon to you, yeah.
All of the wonderful listeners across the island and further afield. Of course, we are going through a very crucial time right now, and this has become a major issue for us, I think, as a nation. And this is, as Afi said, an opportunity for, the wider public and the organizations, institutions, etc., really to give their voice to this, but also to recognize that this is not an issue that's going to go away. This is something that we have to grab hold of, that we have to take responsibility for, and we have to resolve. When you talk about stop child abuse, stop means removing it from our culture entirely, and we need to do something to work seriously towards how we achieve those ends. So it's really calling out on all of those NGOs, all of those organizations, all of those institutions, business people, etc., the general public, to come and give your voice. This is what our responsibility is. I'm hearing such distressing information that's coming through, Matt. It continues, because we have these one-off conversations, or if our administrations don't move quickly enough, it doesn't stop. And there are incidents that are coming out, and it is so distressing. As a mother, I am just horrified to hear the things that I'm hearing.
But one thing I found encouraging this week, Kathy, that maybe you guys are not even aware of, that this young lady, that was, if you will, abused, put together a group at school.
Yes, we're aware. We spoke about that just on Monday.
Some 40,
students at
the Convent High School, which have come to around and rally around to support her. And again, this is allowing our young people are recognizing that this is an issue that is very real and that is affecting them. Mm-hmm. One of my concerns is that, people seem to have pushed aside the issue of this young woman, but she's never going to forget this incident. This is never going to leave her. And God willing, she'll find a way to as she grows older, to live with it, but it's never going to go away from her. And so, we have a responsibility to ensure that we do as much as we can to protect her now that she has gone through that.
But she's remaining strong.
Absolutely.
And, in all her years at school, she topped her class. Mm-hmm. With all that pressure surrounding her, she seemed to be doing very well at school.
Well, she is somebody that we need to hold up, mm-hmm. and not only protect, but help her become a model of resistance.
Absolutely. A
model of resilience in the face of this, this terrible violation of her womanhood and her personhood. Mm-hmm. And I also believe that it's also very important for other young people to realize that they don't have to just give in to this, right. That they need to stand up. They need to identify their abusers. They need to confront their abusers. And they need to be able to do that, knowing that the society is going to stand up with them and enable that to happen.
Let's take a phone call from the overseas line. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Peltier.
Yes.
And Sister Marilyn, nice to hear your voice again. Put me in a nice comforting mode with that voice of yours.
It belongs on the radio, huh?
Yes, it belongs on the radio, and oh man, I'm happy to hear your voice. And I just want to tell you all, whatever that initiative you and Happy Martin and the group is putting together, remember the children are the future, and there would be no failure with that movement, because any generation we have children involved. And seeing that in Dominica, with what's going on out there with our children, we need those things to educate both the fathers, the mothers, and also the children themselves, and stand behind them and support them. And as you all just mentioned, that the young lady have a group, the convent, we should support them and
from hearing that, she's a strong woman and she's going to be something in life someday with that strength of hers to put that group together. So kudos to you all, and no matter where I am, I'm going to give you all full support on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget the big discussion is taking place on Monday.
Monday, 6 o'clock at the Public Service Union.
What is the format there?
The format, I will introduce the discussion as I would normally do if we were in studio. I will introduce the program and then do a very brief summation of why we're doing it, and then introduce Tim Durant to sort of govern to conduct the session. And because at that point, I really do believe, people need to hear fresh voices. People need to realize that there are people out there who want to become a part of the resistance to child sexual abuse, and Tim is just one of those people. Tim himself is a family man with a family and children, and I do know, as a journalist, he has had very, very, very strong concerns about this matter. So it's wonderful to have him, and of course the other journalists who are like you, Matt, a family man. I mean, you have children, you have a family, and so this is very, very, very close to all of us, and we would just hope that people will realize that this is not going to be stopped by our government. Mm-hmm. This is going to be only stopped by people. It's the community that gets up and stands up and confronts those abusers, because we know who they are. Mm-hmm. Believe you me, Matt, we know who they are, and people are going to have to straighten their backs up and tie their waists, because their names will be revealed. If not on Monday, definitely their names will be revealed. All of them. People in high places, people in low places, whoever they are.
You're hearing of a lot more names surfacing out there?
Hearing a lot more names in high places. A lot more names in high places, Matt.
What worries you most, Marilyn, about this?
What worries me, Matt, is with the young lady in question, people seem to have pushed aside the issue because of her age, almost trying to suggest that she's old enough to accept and to agree and to participate, which I disagree with strongly. And I think it mustn't be allowed to become a forefront issue. It must be recognized that there is an age of consent, and this young lady falls clearly below that. And there are lots of psychological reasons as to why we have an age of consent. What worries me equally is the fact that there is revelations of this abuse happening to children even younger. And we're talking about children younger than 5 years old. And so, there is major damage that is being done to our children across the board. And if we don't take a stand, then we're going to lose yet another generation of our children. And we must start to become more conscious of this. And advocacy is, the only way forward, that we have to raise our voices.
And Matt, I would just add to what Marilyn says, which is so important. People must not be allowed the luxury of hiding behind anybody or anything or any institution on this issue. There should be no place to run and no place to hide. This is why it is so important for people to be prepared to signal where they stand on this issue. And if you go out there and make statements like people who have been charged, and you calling them great men and big men and heroes, then you too, by association, are an abuser of children. It's like you're receiving stolen goods, and you become equally culpable and guilty in the eyes of the law. Well, in the eyes of the thinking public, in the eyes of the public, anybody who supports and doesn't condemn outright, no excuses, takes no, this is an issue on which we take no prisoners. It's either on or off. And as far as we are concerned, this has to be off and completely excised from our cultural makeup and experience in Dominica.
So don't forget, come Monday, 6 o'clock, right here on Q. Listen to sort of a panel discussion, if you will, with journalists right there to ask all the questions on this very sensitive issue. at this time in Dominica.
Just remind your listeners, man, that those who wish to, and we invite them to come to the PSU. Come, show your face, show that you don't mind being associated with a vigorous rejection of child sexual abuse. Come, there'll be accommodation.
That call goes out, Afi, to all our citizens, young and old, all age groups, all genders. Everybody come forward, come out and stand up against child abuse in our society.
Absolutely.
All right, I want to say good afternoon to you. Anthony, good afternoon to you, Marilyn.
Thank you, Matt.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
All right.